Welcome, global learners. Today we're going to learn how to create a student data sheet using conditional formatting. In this case, I'm going to use some first grade data from the Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Success, or the DIBBLS measure. And I'm going to create a column heading for the name, one for letter naming fluency, one for phoneme segmentation fluency, and nonsense word fluency. I've already typed in my fluency measures over here, which just show what range of data is considered at risk, some risk, or low risk. So I'll go ahead and put some fake student names in here. And then I select the cells that I'm going to be entering the data in for letter naming fluency. And I'm going to click the Format button. And from that drop-down menu, I select Conditional Formatting. Box appears that allows me to input a cell value range. And so anyone, let's say, naming between 1 and 19 letters per minute is considered at risk. So I'm going to put 1 and 19. And what I want to do is paint those cells with a format. So I click the Format button and you get 3 tabs: Font, Border, and Patterns. I want to choose Patterns because it's got cell shading. And I usually put the intensive students, or those at-risk students, red, or in this case pink is a little bit easier to read. Then I'm going to add another condition for those students who are just somewhat at risk, say letter naming between 20 and 34. And then I'm going to select, I'll paint those yellow. And then my final condition is, let's say anybody who's naming more than like 35 or more letters per minute, that's a student who's just fine to begin with. So I'm going to put greater than or equal to 35, and I'm going to paint all those cells green. Then I click OK, and when I input the data, let's say the first students are only naming 10 letters per minute, it's going to come up pink, which means that student's at risk. The next student might be 12, the next one could be 25. And you can do the exact same thing for phoneme segmentation fluency. I'm going to go ahead and put the data in there, and then I'll again choose Format, Conditional Formatting, and then for phoneme segmentation fluency, I'm going to put cell value between 1 and 34. We're going to click Format and paint that pink. We're going to add a condition for those who are reading between, or saying between 35 and 49 sounds per minute, and those will be considered strategic or yellow. And the final value, we'll just put cell value is greater than or equal to 50. And I'm going to paint all those guys green. And go ahead and click OK. You could do the same thing for nonsense word fluency. Now I want to sort the data so that I can take a look at how to group my students. And I might want to work on letter naming fluency. So I'll select all the student data. I can get rid of this fluency measure stuff. I'm going to sort the data. Okay, so I go up to the Data button, click Sort, and in this case I want to sort by letter naming fluency. I'll click OK. And so it kind of groups my students. So I know I've got students 7, 1, and 2 that are going to need a little more practice with that. One thing I do for the first graders is nonsense word fluency is a very powerful indicator, and oftentimes with English language learners, they may not be able to name the letter, but they know what sound is associated with it. So sometimes I'll select the data and I'll sort it by nonsense word fluency. And that is a very, very good indicator of reading success. Okay, in this case, let's going to give me some different groups to work with on their specific skill. Well, that's it for today's lesson on using student data sheets in Excel with conditional formatting.